So much has happened since I last saw you. I lost my hammer, like yesterday, so that's still pretty fresh. And then I went on a journey of self-discovery, where I met you.
It might be kind of unfair, but the Thor films have kind of been the black sheep of the Marvel franchise in that while they have their fans, I in particular love the first Thor with a passion of 1,000 fiery suns. The Thor films haven't clicked with everyone else like the other Marvel Studios films. Even Ant-Man seems more popular. Nothing against the quality of that film, but you didn't hear people talking about Thor the Dark World a year after it was released because that's like a movie that exists for reasons and we're not really sure what those reasons are. So it's with a very happy heart that I am pleased to announce Thor Ragnarok as the film that looks like it's going to unite fans of the MCU and otherwise under the banner of the character. Yes, everyone likes to talk about how fun it is, but I want to talk about really quick just what a special little movie this is for a movie that is not little at all and is actually kind of amazing that it exists, in that it is a total love letter to the art and creation styles of Jack Kirby and the original reason why he wanted to bring those characters to life in the first place in adapting Norse mythology to the Marvel Universe. Not only that, but it's clearly a Taika Waititi film first and foremost. Like, I mean, they had a script for Thor Ragnarok, I guess, before he came on board, and then he came on board and he was like, okay, but I'm going to make it my version of this really dark thing. Like, remember when everyone said, like, oh, this is going to be the darkest Thor movie, it's going to be like the Winter Soldier of the Thor movies and the space cosmic side of things. And honestly, it's kind of a dark movie, but it's not treated as dark. It is almost a borderline straight-up comedy at times, but it never loses sight of the story it's telling, and there are legitimate character arcs here. Taika Waititi's strength is in tone, character, and themes, and he balances all pretty well because there's some pretty goofy shit in this movie, while also some really touching and poignant moments, not just for characters like Loki and Thor, but people like Valkyrie, the Hulk, and a clear methodology from the villain Hela, played by Cate Blanchett, who, oh my god, she's basically Marvel's version of Maleficent. She just loves being evil, and there's definitely more to her than that, but it's nice to see Cate Blanchett relish a role in a movie as big as this, and I think it's pretty clear that everyone on screen had a blast making this film. Not that that's a mark of quality or anything of the such, but it's nice to see when people get a couple $100 million to play with, and they're like, here, go make a crazy-ass movie.
Hello.
Hi.
It's a complete reinvention of the franchise in that it strays away from the Branagh Shakespearean fantasy aesthetics of the first two films, or I guess Game of Thrones for the second, because Alan Taylor did his thing, whatever. But it totally embraces the Marvel cosmic side of things and their origins, of course, as I mentioned before, Jack Kirby, and renditions of things like Masters of the Universe, He-Man, She-Ra, 80s fantasy, and that translates to the score as well from Mark Mothersbaugh, who brings an almost 8-bit-like sensibility to the synthesizers and soundscape designs. Taika Waititi refers to it as like those spray painting videos that you come across on Instagram and Twitter, where it's like, oh, they're painting moons and it's set to this really groovy soundtrack. Thor Ragnarok's like that, and I mean that in the best way possible, because instead of painting moons that are like really aesthetically pleasing, Taika Waititi tells a Thor story that, while aesthetically pleasing, shout out to cinematographer Javier Aguirre-Sorobi. Shit, I'm sorry, we're from the same culture. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. I feel like a total failure, sorry. They brought on a very distinct look for a Marvel comic book movie, filled with vibrant color palettes and asymmetrical, boisterous designs that could only be achieved in something like a Thor movie. The real meat and potatoes of the story is about, ultimately, Thor, his connection to Asgard, Loki, his connection to Asgard, and Asgardian history, and their family's lineage, or I guess Loki's adopted family, and growing as people regardless of the strife they've had in their own lives, their own fault or otherwise, and how they're forced to confront that in their own individual ways. Thor finally having to decide where he belongs in the universe, and not just in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but as a whole, as a human, or as an Asgardian rather, what he wants outside of just being a great hero and a great man. Loki having to confront what side of the fence he really falls on. Is he a villain? Is he a hero? Is he worthy of redemption? Does he want redemption? Tessa Thompson is Valkyrie, who is honestly pretty amazing. Oh my god, she like oozes swagger on the screen. Like, in another universe, she played Han Solo, and we all would have been totally okay with it because she's just that fucking good. Again, Valkyrie forced to confront something from her own past, again, tied to Asgardian history. But someone not tied to Asgardian history is Hulk and Bruce Banner, who find themselves on the ass end of space, but still having to determine their own interdynamic personalities and whether or not Bruce Banner's own wants and needs supersedes the possibility of the Hulk helping other people. It's legitimate questions asked by a legitimate creator for his legitimate characters and their struggles. If I have any quibbles with the film, it's that sometimes I feel like the film maybe doesn't let emotional moments and situations sit for as long as they should, but maybe that would mess up the pacing of the movie, and maybe I just want more of that Taika Waititi goodness because, dear Lord, the man's ability to handle tone and character without ever losing sight of the pacing. Like, seriously, this is the best paced Marvel movie by, like, miles. Oh my god, there's not even a scene that could be considered wasteful or unnecessary. I don't know. Taika Waititi is clearly smarter than I am. So I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, that would have messed up the movie if you had let the emotional stuff sit longer. What do I know? I'm just a dude who likes talking into a microphone about movies, so props to you, Taika Waititi. So yeah, Thor Ragnarok. It's great. You should all go watch it when it comes out. More so than just the quote-unquote fun atmosphere of the film, look a little deeper, and you'll find some really rich storytelling, unparalleled for most superhero films, and honestly, as much as I love the first Thor film, kind of richer as a whole here. Although I will say that I think the humans on Earth got the short stick because I was kind of a fan of those characters, even though they're just comedic relief. Like, I don't know. Thor the Dark World did a number on everyone. I can kind of see why Thor didn't want to go back to Asgard for 2 years in between movies. So anyways, those are my thoughts on Thor Ragnarok. If you like this, like and subscribe. If you didn't like this, like and subscribe anyways, because you might find something else you do like on here that I talk about, along with podcasts, retrospectives, other fun shenanigans, and stay tuned for the Waffle Press movie retrospectives leading up to The Last Jedi. We're going to have like 1,000 episodes on Star Wars, but I promise they'll all be very different and distinct and about different subject matter other than just the movies coming out. And also check out our Patreon if you get the chance. I understand not everyone can donate, but if you can, it helps out the show in a big way. Stay tuned for commentaries. Already got one up for Bad Boys 2. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We have been professionally unprofessional.
What were you the god of again?